talk to you a little bit first. I'm just going to tell you what's my background. I used to manage two generic top-level domains, which were .bar for all bars and rest all over the world, and .rest. And we sold them through different um, registrars such as GoDaddy, et cetera, et cetera. And we're based in Latin America. Now the activity that I do the most is mostly venture capital. We do some investing in companies that their technology relies mostly on being online. We're focused in Latin America, and we also have a marketing agency that helps people choose the right domain names and promote the new GTLDs that are all over the world. And I say this because it's very interesting. The new possibilities are endless, and now you can have a really good name for your business. So I used to work at Coca-Cola in marketing. I speak Spanglish, but here I'm going to speak English. I'll try to keep the Spanish to a minimum. We're based in Mexico City. We have around 28 million people here next to me, so it gets crowded sometimes. And I'm someone that is very passionate about the whole new domain name ecosystem. So let's see a little bit of what is the Caribbean now regarding internet worldwide. So when we see in Latin America, you got North America, South America, Central America, and you got the Caribbean because of its population, but you got that you guys have a penetration of over 70%. So it's 19.9 million people that are currently using the internet on a day-to-day basis. This is up to June 2017. So what I'm trying to say with this, it's that there's a very big market in the Caribbean that, from the last time I was there, there's so much opportunity there, right? As someone that comes from entrepreneurship and that lives investing in startups and companies, there is so much potential. And then you guys have the benefit of doing everything in English, so all your model can be easily exported into the US, Canada, and other English-speaking countries. So this is a little bit of how the internet users are in the Caribbean. Okay, so St. Kitts is not there. I guess the population is a little bit smaller, but you got Dominican Republic, Cuba, Puerto Rico, you got Jamaica, Haiti, Trinidad and Tobago as one of the largest users of the internet, and it's a very good relation with their current population. Okay, so the internet penetration is, at least for Trinidad, which is where I originally started, there's a lot of data available for that specific country. The penetration is around 77%, and, well, this is no surprise to any of us, but at least 9 out of 10 users are super Facebook users, right? And actually this varies country to country. So there are other countries where you got 7 out of 10, 6 out of 10. Also depends on the age of the population. But I think the biggest opportunity that is today in the Caribbean, it's a lot of e-commerce. So there's a lot of opportunity for a new player to start and having niche companies, niche products, which is always the best thing to do, is everything based on e-commerce. So you got separate countries, they're very close. You got a customs clearance, so it's easy to travel and for goods to travel. But what I've realized, and the research that we've done in the Caribbean, is as most people, normally everything is imported from the US, right? So there's still so much opportunity to grow and to have a big market leader in the Caribbean for e-commerce. So the internet has evolved a lot. I think I say always that it's kind of a new dawn, kind of like when Mr. Robot decided to take down all the internet and all the debts of everyone. It's a series called Mr. Robot, which kind of hacks. This guy totally hacks the internet all over the world. So it's kind of everything goes back to the Stone Age, right? You see a world without internet, and everything just goes crazy. So we're in an era, just like Albert said, that you got Internet of Things. Everything now is connected. Wherever you go, most probably you will find Wi-Fi unless you go to the middle of the forest or the middle of the ocean, right? So being connected with all the additional devices besides a laptop and a telephone brings us to a new use of the internet. But we still need to have a presence there if we are entrepreneurs and if you want to make a good business. So originally there were two kinds of domain names, right? As you mentioned, as Albert mentioned before, we got our legacy TLDs, which were the first ones that came out, .com, .org, .net, .biz. And also you had a country code domain names, which are always two letters, LC, CA, F for France, D for Germany, E is for Spain, for Mexico is .mx, for St. Kitts it's KN. Yes? Okay, perfect. All right. So what happened? Everything got filled up. If you want to buy Daniel.com, that is not going to be available anymore, because all these domains, all the words in the dictionary and all the names are already used up. So a lot of people, because ICANN is it's full of stakeholders. New domain names came available, and this gives such a big opportunity to the market to create something new. So the .com and .net and .org worked well, but then there were already 330 million registered domain names. And this is a little bit before ICANN came out with the new GTLD, right, with the new top-level domains. So what happened, and this is how everything is happening now. So when you see johns.com, unless it's a world-famous brand like McDonald's.com, what does it tell you? You don't know what it is. And now the biggest problem new companies have is the attention span of your users, right? Especially online. If you spend, when you're using your phone, when you're looking at Instagram, when you're looking at Snapchat videos, well, not videos, but when you're just looking at pictures, etc., you spend on average 1 second the most. It doesn't interest you, and you go next, next, next. So we have shorter attention span. So what we got to do with your client is tell them who we are as fast as we can, or tell them what we do. And with the new GTLD extension, this is something they didn't have. This is easier to do from the start. Our client can know, if we're not a world famous brand, we can know that John is a shop. John is a blog based in Trinidad maybe, or John is a bar. So from even the header, from the address, you can see what kind of company or what kind of services you are offering to your client. So the 1 second that he's going to invest in looking at you, he's already going to know who you are, what you do, and why do you exist. So for me, this is very strategic. You could always put John's shop in stkids.com, but it's going to be longer, But now, this is amazing. We have over 1,000 new extensions. So it's going to be hard to find an extension that is not for your business. If you like horses, there's a .horse. I don't think there's a .plumber yet, but maybe in the next round there will be. But there are so many new extensions. You got .life, .social, .games, .today, .bar, .rest. In Spanish, you got .viajes, which means trips. You got, instead of .shop, you got .tienda, which is shop in Spanish, But the main question is, why would this help me? First of all, it's going to tell your clients who you are straight from the name, or what are your interests. If you're doing a blog, there's a .blog already, right? So it's John's .blog. Well, it's a guy talking about something. He's not telling us what, but at least we know that there's going to be some information in there. It helps you get a better, memorable domain name. Why? Because people are going to remember the new extension. They're very new, so people are liking that. I was just in New York, so I was in Times Square, and in the new big screens that you see in the movies, etc., when you see Spider-Man or whatever movie, now you're starting to see that medium-sized companies and some big companies are starting to use a dot something, dot service, dot, etc. So they're seeing the value in it. it helps you get the right domain name. And this is very important because since most of the .coms are already used up, or they're being sold by people that have a business of buying and reselling domains, probably some domains are going to be worth $100,000 if you want that specific domain, right? If you want john.com, I think that domain would be worth on the market at least $1 million. What happens if you're a small size business? You're not going to spend $1 million on that. Also, it helps keep your domain short. So instead of having John's Shop and Kids.com, you can have John's.shop or John's.kn. You're at least saying that you're geographically in a region that makes sense to your clients. It also can help you get better results on search engines because you're already using the keyword of your business. So when you do all the SEO, it's going to help with your SEO when you start planning and trying to promote your website. And you get an email that's specific to that domain name, right? So how do we choose the right domain name? And I wanted to make this presentation because we make a lot of little mistakes that I've seen among all the entrepreneurs that I've met over the years. And since we're very focused as a fund in online businesses, so this is very important for us because one of the most important assets of a company that you're creating, if people are going to find you or they're going to buy from you online, is that you need to have a really good domain name. So I created kind of like 7 commandments to generate a good online domain name. So the first commandment is please do not mix letters and numbers ever. Okay? So I got this friend. He started importing really cool iPad sleeves, bamboo sleeves, and I'm talking about 2009 or 10 when the first iPad came out. So it was really new. His business, he started importing them, selling in Mexico. But the name of his website, and he invested a lot on his e-commerce and on his branding. But the name was 147. So it was the words 1, O-N-E, and then the number 47. So if you tell that, I already took like 5 seconds to explain that, and you're like, what? What are you talking about? So you're going to remember maybe 1 and write the 47. It gets way too complicated, and people are not going to remember, wait, which one was the 1? Which one was the 4? Was 4 the letter? You got to make it as easy as you can for your company and for your clients to remember. The second thing is please don't use abbreviations unless it's very, very, very commonplace. So this happens a lot in Spanish because words tend to be long to explain things, right? But still, you see it a lot all over the world in different countries. So a marketing agency, at least in Mexico, the abbreviation for marketing among marketers or people that are related to marketing is MKT. So agencies put the name johnsmkt.com, But if you are a potential customer, you have no idea what MKT means. You don't know if this guy's an agency. So if this guy would be johns.agency or johns.marketing, that would have helped so much more for me as a client to understand. The third thing that I've seen is that, and this happens a lot in Latin America, people like to complement their domain, right? They like putting LLC, like johnsllc.com, and you start using a lot of extra words that you don't need, especially using a new GTLD. So sometimes put amazononline.store.com. Hello? Can you hear me? Hello, hello.
Hi, Alfredo, we hear you.
Oh, okay. Sorry, sorry. Okay, it's kind of like the video froze on me. All right. Oh, the video disappeared, I think.
Just a second. Slides are coming back.
Good, good. All right. Now I cannot see it though.
Okay, Albert, can you put the slide deck back?
Hello.
Alfredo, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
All right, me too. Good. So while they
Yeah, I saw
restart the
that
computer,
from
let
the
me
tech
try.
up there, right? Okay.
Uh-huh. Well, let's, okay. CQ room back to host.
Okay.
Here is Alfredo's presentation. It's back.
All right. Let me know,
Okay,
guys,
hope
if you
Carlos
want
can hear us.
to continue.
No problem.
I can't see the video though. But does Daniel hear me?
Yeah, I do.
All right. Perfect, guys. All right. Sorry about that. I think someone's computer
I think
crashed.
we are back.
Oh, cool. All right. So,
Okay, we are good. We can
perfect.
resume. Thank you.
All right. I'll try to go faster. Okay. So it's very important that you use keywords in your domaining. And if you're putting them as the extension, KN. If it's short, always try to keep it as short as you can and use the new GTLD extension to show your clients what you are. And this happens a lot, and I've seen it in places. Uh, I've seen it a little bit in Nicaragua or in Mexico. It started happening a lot with the around 2007, 2008. So what people started doing, since they are resellers of a brand, or they just buy bulk from a brand or something and then they sell it in their country. We're close to the United States in Mexico, so it's very easy to import something. People started putting the name of the brand in their domain, right? So even though people are going to understand, oh, you're selling night shoes and you're selling them, well, in Trinidad, for example, you really can't get shut down. What I mean is that the International Intellectual Property Organization, WIPO, there are parts of Nike, for example, that what they do is that they check online if someone is using their brand, and then they go to the World Intellectual Property Organization, and they say, hey, this guy using my brand, and I have no relation with him. So what they do is that they tell the .com, they tell the registry operator, hey, you got to shut down that website. And the next thing you know, you lost all your business, especially if it's an only online business, because there's no way you can put that back up, and you're going to lose all your traffic. It's pretty much the same as they consider it almost the same if you're selling counterfeit, even though you're selling their products, right? Or if you're going to sell one product, but you're going to have different brands as well. You sell Adidas, you sell Puma, Nike's not going to like that, and they're probably going to shut you down as well. So this is just an example. This examples come from things that we've seen in the market. There are companies like Sony, especially a lot of like Nike, that are very jealous. In Mexico, we got Aeromexico, which is an airline, and these companies are known that they always try to shut down anyone, because if you're already using their name, you can also do a lot of maybe sell fake tickets, kind of hustle a little, and put their reputation's brand at risk. So they go all the way, and the best thing that can happen is that they shut your website, but you can get sued, etc., etc. So sometimes we don't know about brand property, so it's always good just to have your own name, even if you're distributing a lot of stuff from different brands. If you only want to sell if you're gonna are only gonna focus, for example, in Think Kids and Avis, then it's really good that you use the KN. If you want to go and sell in Mexico, in the US, and Canada, then you might need a more broader extension, right? So it pretty much gonna depend on the service, the kind of company that you have. So, okay. No, this is in Spanish. So I wanted to give you a little bit of examples of the different use of a .bar, So people all over the world are using the extension .bar, So Brett.bar, Brett.com, you have no idea what it is. So you see all these names, if they didn't have the .bar extension, you would have not known that they were a bar, If you put brothers.com, well, it's going to be really hard to know what they specifically are. So I wanted to put another example. So this is a really nice e-commerce that just launched in Mexico, right? And they did an online-offline strategy. So I saw their ads initially in bus stops. And the only thing, even they put brands that they manage, their domain name is stacks.shop. And they have that .shop all over printed, So it's really easy to understand that they are a store because it's a .shop. And we don't know, in the US, you say stacks for shoes. But in Mexico, we have no idea what that means. So they put the brands of the shoes. You're like, oh, okay. They have brands in urban wear. Okay. So I kind of already understand and know what this is about. So I really like that there's a lot of new companies that are starting to use the new GTLDs to make life easier for their customers. You know, for example, Queremos Comer, which is we want to eat.rest, is a restaurant guide. You know, maybe Queremos Comer already gives you the relation that is food, but if it was something else, .rest, because that's the diminutive for restaurant in Spanish-speaking countries, it's very easy to understand that we're talking about a restaurant without using a longer extension, that's .restaurant, you know, because in Mexico that would be harder to type. So .rest was easier, so that's why they chose that name. So I wanted to talk to you as well very quickly about brand building, right? Because at the end, what we need to do is create a brand around this company that we're managing. So the domain name, really, it's so important, but it's still the tip of the iceberg of your total online strategy. You know, first of all, you got to have the best name that you can get. That's going to be easy to remember, easy to type, short, and tell the customer who you are. Those are the most important things and qualities that you need from a domain name. And then you need to develop your online strategy. So since this is something that I like to do for a living, and I really enjoy my work, I just wanted to share some quick tips with you guys. All right? So you should always have a domain name first. Doesn't matter if you're going to develop your website later, but it's always good to have it for brand protection. Your site always needs to be mobile friendly and SEO ready. So mobile friendly, it's so important now because at least from the last statistics in the US, around 60% of the browsing, or I think almost 70%, is done on mobile devices. You should always complement your strategy with social media pages that apply for your business. You should not underestimate the power of having a real website, right? Some small businesses, what they decide to do is they say, oh, okay, or I already got my Facebook fan page. Well, your Facebook fan page, first of all, it's a really good strategy, but your reach is limited unless you start paying for ads and you need some budget for those ads. Second of all, your Facebook owns that data. You don't own the data, and you can design it as you like, and you don't have all the parts that a basic website can give your customers. It's harder to find certain kind of information. But it's always good to have it for a reference point, for a validation point. If you are more into B2B business, then it's really important to have LinkedIn, right? If your followers or your target audience is more based, more urban, they use Twitter, then have Twitter, Instagram, Pinterest, only if you think it kind of makes sense. Because sometimes a mistake is like, all right, I want to have digital properties and social media across all the different social media platforms there are. And to be honest, it's kind of a waste of time if I'm a venture capital fund and I have a Pinterest page, right? So it really doesn't make sense. You need to have a little bit of budget for search engine marketing to help position your website. You know, so I'm talking that you need to do really good strategy for Google AdWords, and you can learn to do that. Google has a lot of material out there to learn, and you also need a little bit of budget for Facebook ad or LinkedIn in case that you're having a B2B company. So Facebook is a really great tool, as I told you. It helps to reach your audience, helps a lot with customer service, right? They see your Facebook page, and even if you have a chat service installed on your website, people will find it more familiar using a familiar platform for chatting, which is already Facebook or Messenger. So they will probably send you questions, try to reach you. So I think it's a great and cheap to have your customer service on Facebook, right? You can answer directly. It's a one-on-one conversation, but it should never be your online effort because remember that Facebook is a closed network. So you will never be found in a search engine. You know, Google doesn't index the Facebook business web pages. You know, it has a predetermined format, so you're forced to a look and feel. You know, the upper bar on Facebook that is blue, It will always be blue. There's no way you can change that, right? You can change your logo, you can change the image you have on the background, but that blue part, the logo of Facebook, will always be there, you know. And your web address is really hard to type, you know, because it's facebook.com/my business dot something, you know, or my business slash. And it's really hard and doesn't look very professional on presentation cards or anywhere else. So it is a great and amazing tool, but it should be a part of your toolkit along with your website. So this is pretty much everything that I wanted to present to you guys. I really hope it kind of gives you an overview of what the new utilities, the possibilities are, and how to start setting up a good online strategy. So thank you very much for your time, guys.
Clause. I think we may have time for two questions if there are any from the audience. But before I go to the audience, Alfredo, you use two terms here which may not necessarily be familiar to everybody seated as an attendee. The first one is SEO. Perhaps you can just give a quick explanation of what that is, because I think you referred to it once or twice. And I think you also referred to the new GTLD. Perhaps you can just give a quick explanation for that one as well.
All right, sure. So this is really simple. So SEO means, can you hear me, guys? Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So SEO means search engine optimization. You know? So it is to use keywords that are relevant for your business in the text of your website, and also have it on the HTML, which the HTML is the language that your website is normally programmed in, you know, and have specific keywords that will help people that are looking for information that you can give them on Google, right? So what Google does is that it goes into your web page, reads everything, and then if your page has information that is relevant for someone looking for the information, it will put you in a good ranking and in the search engine page results, you know? So the whole objective goal of SEO strategy, of search engine optimization, is to optimize your web page so you can be one of the first results when someone is searching for a similar keyword. You know? So that is what SEO means.
Okay, are there any questions from the audience? Show of hands quickly. If there are, we'll get a mic to you so that you can hear from Alfredo. Alfredo makes a lot of money. We don't normally get access to him. So you have him right now. So if you have any questions for Alfredo, let me see a quick show of hands. Otherwise, we will go immediately across to our friend to talk about .kn. So going once. I see one hand. Okay, can we get a microphone to that gentleman? Sorry? Oh, can you go to the standing mic and first, please say your name and which organization you're with.
Good afternoon. My name is Delvin Williams. I attend Clarence Fitzroy College. I was wondering, right, if you have an international business company and you use a local domain and you were to move, would you have to change it?
Alfredo, did you hear the question?
That is a very good question. Yes. Okay, so the question is, if you have an international business but a local domain, right?
Correct.
Okay, so the answer is yes, and there are many tools out there to help you with this. You know, you get a redirect 301, which is, you gotta Google that up. It's something that Google helps you to redirect all your traffic The most important thing is that on an international page, when you're migrating from a local domain name maybe to a new domain name extension or a change of website, or sometimes companies have to change names, you know, because that happens. The most important thing is that you don't lose your traffic and all the indexation that Google already did of all your content. That is one of the most important things. So there are a lot of tools out there, like Redirect 301, that you should look up, and the person that built your website has kind of put that redirect to your new website, you know, so you don't lose anything, all of your traffic, all of your brand quality, your page ranking, you know. But I would recommend that if you start selling products or services outside your specific region, country, or city, that you use a domain name that either goes to the new region if you're selling specifically to another country, or an extension that is more on the services that you give.
Any other questions going twice? Okay, I see one person standing and going to the mic.
Good afternoon. My name is Jackie Williams, also from the Clarence Fitzroy Bryant College. I've seen a lot of individuals and companies who offer search optimization, SEO.
SEO, yes.
They promise that they can get you, your business, if you have a small business, a higher ranking on you know, the search. And how does one determine the validity of a lot of these marketing efforts? That's just a general observance I have. And specifically in terms of, if you have a small business, how do you, as you mentioned, a budget, one should set aside a budget to optimize the presence. So what are some of the suggestions for indeed optimizing your presence online? Thank you.
All right. So, very important questions. So, first of all, in order to filter SEO efficiency, you look for SEO agency on your phone, you're going to get noted results, and 95% of the companies are in that, and they tell you that it's going to take months or a week. So the important thing is that you do need to figure out SEO, and it's not rocket science. First of all, to position a website on the front page of Google results will not take less than 6 months. Okay, so any person, service provider, agency that tells you that it can be done in less time, it's pretty much going to a waste of money. So that's because they're lying. There's absolutely no way to do it organically. You know? So that's one of the few filters. But regarding the second question is, how can you optimize your website with a limited budget? If you can send me an email, and I will send you a list of tools that you can do that I'm going to give you, and you can optimize your website for free. Okay? There are a lot of plugins. If you use WordPress for your website, Yoast, Y-O-A-S-T, for example, is an artificial intelligence plugin, which is free, that once you write an article or you start creating your website, is going to tell you, hey, on the name of the article, you need to put your keyword. If you're selling shoes, you have to put the word shoes on the name of your article. Hey, on your second paragraph, you're not using the word shoes, you know? So it sounds very simple, and SEO is a little bit simple to that extent. It's just a lot of work. So you can optimize your budget a lot, first of all, with those free plugins. And second of all, there's a lot of keyword research tools, you know? So you go on Google and you just put free keyword research. SEMrush is one, for example. And what it's going to do, it's going to tell you what are the best keywords related to your business. The ones that are more looked for. For example, maybe they don't use shop, they use the word store, you know. So that is one of the few things that you can do to optimize your budget. There's a lot. This is very interesting because there's a lot of information, plugins, and tools that are free, that are out there, and they're very easy and simple to use. You know, that's actually how I started the agency. You know, I started doing this. A lot of people were asking me; they didn't have the time to do this. So I said, well, I'll do it, but I'm going to charge you something because I already did it for my website. And it's working. I did it for another company, and it's working. You know? So I think there's a lot of stuff there out there.
Thank you very much, Alfredo. So we will be sharing the slides and Alfredo's contact information both on the CTU's website and on the VDEC website, so you'll be able to have some, direct interaction with him. But we will press on now, so let's give Alfredo another round of applause and thank him for joining us today from